want to be a pilot. Ngizoba a pilot because ngifuna ukulena more about amanye ama-country and ngibona ukuthi baphila kanjani. And ukuze ngikwazi ukuba a pilot ngizofunda ngama-subjects like physical sciences, life sciences, tourism and geography and mathematics. Lawo ma-subjects azokwazi ukungenza ukuthi ngiye-varsity ngiyofunda about aviation sciences. Lezo kwazi ukungenza ukuthi ngibe a pilot enolwazi oluningi futhi eqavile.
Smangele goes to B.W. Vilakazi Secondary School and is a member of the School Learners Representative Council. She obtained 3 distinctions last semester. This is Smangele's brother, Sabelo. He passed his matric 3 years ago. His mother didn't have money for him to further his studies. He hasn't been lucky in finding a job either. This is Smangele's mother. She's a domestic worker and the main breadwinner in the family.
Zolika secula ubugebengu, child abuse, poverty ne-crime. Umama uthola like itorhwane elincane nje lokugada abantwana. Ekhaya imali yokuthi nge-university ayikho. Kuze ngikwazi ukuthola imali yoku-university ngizofunda kakhulu esikolweni, ngiphase ama-grades amonke bese ngithola ibhazari nemali yokuthi ngihambe nge-university.
Smangele is not alone in her fears. Millions of South Africa's young people do not finish matric, are unemployed and live below the poverty line. The number of people living below the poverty line of 441 rand per person per month increased to 13.8 million in 2015.
Children are the most vulnerable to poverty, and youth unemployment is a driving factor in disadvantaged communities in South Africa. In 2017 alone, over 55% of youth were unemployed.
In 2017, 9.1 billion rands of investment across government, corporate and outside benefactors were invested in corporate social investment initiatives in South Africa. The investment was shared by South Africa's 153,000 non-profit organizations focused on improving South African livelihoods. How can we, as good corporate citizens, help them and make a bigger impact?
Project SA sees communities, corporates, government, NGOs, NPOs coming together to tackle poverty in South Africa and to uplift communities. What it actually does in the framework and how it works is for corporates to come together to collectively meet needs and basic needs in communities.
The framework first looks at existing corporate investments in South Africa before locating gaps within the identified programs. Once the thorough gap analysis is completed, we can then identify an area in need and perform an in-depth research of that town or village. This will ensure that there are no duplications in CSI and ED investments.
The way the framework actually works is to identify each need, be it water, waste, entrepreneurship, jobs, education, health and wellness in South Africa, and then see how the corporates can actually make a difference to those areas.
After a basic needs analysis, the Strategic Alliance will create a growth model. This growth model will show how corporate investment can help to meet basic needs and what parts are ready for growth. This forms part of the secondary phase of the project, where we will look at entrepreneurship, supply development, job creation, market access, and the creation of micro-industries.
We know that employment is a big driver of growth. And I think that if there's one thing that every country wants today, or is in the main topic of the national agenda, is how to drive employment, how to drive growth.
The framework works on a circular approach, which means that once the investment is within the community, it stays within the community and we actually watch it build. And then we can actually multiply the way that the framework works and take it across South Africa to alleviate poverty in other areas.
But that will be much more impactful if different organizations, big organizations, work together than if each one of us just work on a specific problem on a different region. And then in the end, the efforts won't be as noticed. But if we join forces, I think that the impact can be huge.
The overall purpose will be to create a trade and not an aid model, whereby a village is self-sustainable and works on a circular economic approach. Sustainability would mean that corporates can remove their investments and reinvest in another area of South Africa. Different corporations will have different touchpoints, such as education, entrepreneurship, and sustainability. The objective of the framework is to ensure that Smangele realizes her dream of becoming a pilot. This will also help her brother achieve his dream of becoming an entrepreneur. And her mother will aim to find permanent employment through this strategic alliance.
So I think that as final words, if I can have some, is really inviting every company to be part of Project SA. I think we have a unique and great chance of working together and really make a difference. So you can all count with SAB to partner with your organization to make a better South Africa.
Mangikhulile sengiyi-pilot senginemali ngizobuya la eKaslame eZola basize ngoku-create ama-youth programs whereby bazokwazi like ukusizana ngama-challenges abo in life.
Change Smangele's life and a million other lives by becoming a strategic alliance partner.